Good morning, Bob. Bob, could you please, press the
So,
button.
just a couple of housekeeping before Officer Rebuena comes in. I just wanted to place on the record that we did have the subpoena for our executive director, Mr. De Leon Guerrero, and that I think the committee was informed that he is off island and won't be back until I think at least October 20th. And we will make himself available, on his return to the committee. I'll just await your notice when he returns, and we'll communicate that to the Sergeant at Arms. Chairman, the second issue relates to the subpoena duces taken.
Council, before you go on to the next item, just for the members' information, I don't have the letter that you that CPA responded to this body in front of me. So, do you know approximately when Mr. Guerrero would be returning?
Yeah, I think for the email from CPA staff attorney J.P. San Nicolas, I believe it's around October 20th, after October 20th. So,
thank you.
I can supplement that to an email to Mr. Cool or Mr. Tyrone.
I believe we have it. I just don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
But so for the record, we will leave Mr. Edward De Leon Guerrero's name on the list, and the members can take action on his presentation at a later date. Thank you, and you may go on to the next item.
Chairman, the committee has issued a subpoena duces taken for production on September 28th, and as counsel for CPA, I wanted to inform the committee that, as you realized yesterday, the Office of the Public Auditor has conducted its investigation, is conducting its investigation, and as a result of that has commenced a criminal prosecution of Mr. Buckingham. And on the strength of the OPA's authority and subpoena, CPA produced the video, the complete video. As I mentioned yesterday, there are two kind of types of video information, all of which were produced. One is relating to the TSA sterile screening area, and the second is the CPA secured areas, such as the premises below and the premises inside the departure terminal after you clear TSA. This entire body of video footage was produced to OPA, and as you saw yesterday, the public auditor retrieved that from this committee, and one of the items that is requested relates to the video surveillance on item 6. And I want to place on the record that we do assert the law enforcement investigatory privilege, and that that information not only contains safety sensitive information, as you know the term in airport and TSA parlance, that's information that would be extremely sensitive and may compromise security, whether it's national or local security, and I forget the citation, but at least the TSA material is safety sensitive information. TSA has made it clear that they have not given their consent. That information was produced on a non-disclosure agreement to OPA, and it will remain in CPA's view subject to the investigatory privilege, as well as the video footage. And understanding the statutory language that a government agency must cooperate with the committee's work, I simply informed the committee that that was produced and is still within the possession of OPA as part of a criminal investigation, and therefore CPA maintains that privilege as the subpoena and the statute informs that privileges do apply. I also informed the committee that part of the reason why the staff attorney, Mr. San Nicolas, is not handling this is that he's been part of the internal process within CPA reviewing what happened, and while there's no work product to date as a result of that, that would be, an internal attorney work product that he would be asserting, or CPA would be asserting. But we don't have such reports or production yet from within CPA. But if and when they are made available, we would assert the privilege on that. And then, lastly, among other things, I think we've produced the time and attendance records and the list of government vehicles used, which we believe there were none, on CPA vehicles. But one of the things is the CPA financial report that details the financial breakdown of associated costs. There are no such records. I think the committee was actually asking that a financial report be generated, and I don't believe that a subpoena duces tecum can compel an agency to generate a report that doesn't exist for purposes of its investigation. So I don't want to be disrespectful of the committee, but it just, we don't have that. We didn't compile that. So I think those were the items relating to the subpoena duces tecum, and I'd be happy to discuss it further if there were any further issues on it.
Thank you, Counsel. With regards to the video footages, I personally turned it over to the OPA prosecutor, Mr. Hasselback, yesterday. So, for the record, we no longer have that.
Okay.
It's under their possession. In our discussion, though, with Mr. Joey San Nicolas, the reason the video footages at the ramp could not be provided was because of TSA's security concerns, which we were told that CPA has written a letter to TSA to find out if they can turn over the video to this body. And as was discussed yesterday, when a response is received by CPA, and it is in the affirmative that it can be used, we do expect that this body be provided. If that is in fact the reason why we could not be provided, it was pending some kind of a response from TSA. So it's really TSA that has the security concerns, and they will be responding to CPA, and if the response is that it is not a security issue with TSA, then I heard what you said, that that it's also being investigated by OPA, and therefore subject to the statutes you have referenced, CPA wishes to withhold it. But legal counsel, if TSA is the agency, the primary agency here, that not only has the authority to issue it, to release it, but has the authority to decide whether it can be released, I don't see why CPA. Never mind. I think I know you invoked a separate but relevant statute. So I'm going to move on to the next issue that you provided, or you asked.
Chair. Just a point of clarification while we're on the subject of the video footage.
State your point.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask, outside the video footages for the TSA screening area, is CPA opposed to submitting an edited video footage that is outside of the TSA screening? As an example, the check-in counter, the duty-free entrance, and as well as the other side of the departure area?
The answer is yes, for two reasons, Representative De La Cruz. The first one is all of this video has already been turned over to a law enforcement agency as part of its investigation. So, such as DPS, when they're conducting an investigation, those video and the, like the poker robberies, all of that is part of its investigation and would not be produced, except in a criminal case prosecution as part of discovery. And that investigation, according to OPA, is still pending. They haven't completed it unless they certify that they've completed it, but I believe it's still ongoing. And still part of their case in chief against Mr. Buckingham. So that's one reason, the first reason. The second reason is why is that safety sensitive information? We would oppose, because if this information were disclosed to the public or to anyone outside of a law enforcement agency, it would reveal what kind of security CPA maintains on its premises. And having revealed that kind of security would then compromise its ability to maintain the facilities. So
and that's exactly the opposite of my statement and request. Is the request is to remove any and all security sensitive information, such as video footages of the TSA equipments and so forth, and confine the video footages to just other areas that do not have those sensitive security instruments at hand, if you will. In other words, I guess what I'm asking is for an edited version, and I'm sure that is something that can be accommodated. Merely its form of editing the full video footage of August 3rd and August 4th. And again, this is all outside any security TSA equipment and apparatus that there may be.
Representative De La Cruz, the problem is if you see the video, you would be able to see the angles and the cameras that CPA has on the premises, seen or unseen. And so that's the problem. It's not about redacting it or editing it. It's the angle of line of sight, what CPA can see and from where. And that's what the public would see. So people would be able to compromise that security structure, and that's what makes it safety sensitive information, because someone could breach that by knowing where the angles are. That's my point. And so my point is that what I can simply say to the committee is, if we believe that it can be produced without compromising that, we certainly will do so.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. And again, Chair, that is the request of this committee. I'm sure that most, if not all of us, have been through the airport facility. I don't doubt for a fact that it is a sensitive area. Security is high regards in the area. But aside from those areas, again, I would like to request that edited footages of the event that took place outside of TSA's confines may and can be submitted to this body.
Thank you, Representative, and thank you, Council. Council, do you want to respond first, or?
No.
Representative Sablan.
Thank you, Chairman. I think I understand the legal counsel's position in regards to I guess, aside from the specific security sensitive areas such as TSA and other locations throughout the airport, I believe the other reason for concern is the location of the surveillance cameras throughout the facilities. But let me ask this, because what I recollect from being up there is that the cameras are generally, and I know some areas put decoys, but you know, a lot of the security cameras are in those dark bubbles, and I'm not sure whether all security surveillance cameras up at the airport are under SUTs, and maybe that's the concern. So I just don't know how to approach this without CPA disclosing security sensitive information. But you know, I like to take the legal counsel's offer that they review the committee's requests and make available what they consider will not will not compromise sensitive security issues, and I'm just not sure how we approach this other than going with that offer.
Okay, we're good.
Why don't we have yesterday we tried to address that issue by saying that perhaps we can meet separate on a separate time and date and discuss the merits of
Sure.
your advice and whether see if we can come to some form of agreement as to what can be provided to this committee.
Yes, sir.
No?
Yes,
so
sir.
We will take that under advisement for now.
Chair, I have one more last point,
Okay.
which is probably consistent with what you've been hearing this morning with respect to the law enforcement officers of EPS. So I represent the Commonwealth Ports Authority, and Officer Rebuenog and Police Chief Jordan Kosem are officers of the Commonwealth Ports Authority, and you're aware that under the statute that they are law enforcement officers of the Commonwealth, statutory. Not many people know that, but they are, which actually public auditor investigators are not law enforcement officers. If you didn't know that. So I represent the Ports Authority, and obviously Officer Rebueno is here on the strength of a subpoena to appear, and as counsel in his role as a ports police officer, obviously I will represent him. But I point out a couple of things which has caused me concern about a potential for conflict, which therefore has prompted me the need to advise him of his right to advice of separate counsel. And Chairman, with your indulgence, I'll just give the reason and we can move forward. I direct the committee's attention to Article 4 of the Articles of Impeachment, which alleges, among other things, on paragraph 14, that on August 3rd, Governor Fittil planned, conspired with others to commit and or committed the felony of theft of services, charging a conspiracy for theft of services, and then goes on in paragraph 22 to allege that Governor Fittil, having control or disposition over the CPA Ports Police, diverted and those services to the benefit. So obviously these articles allege not only criminal conduct by the governor, for which these impeachment proceedings are occurring, but they also actually allege and conclude, if I may use that word, commission by ports police officers. And so that is the reason why I am here to inform the committee that I have advised Officer Rebuenog and Mr. Kosem of their Sixth Amendment rights to counsel and seek advice of counsel, as well as their obvious Fifth Amendment right, if and so when they need to be. So I thank the committee's time, and we're ready to proceed.
Before we proceed with the questioning, Counsel,
Yes,
there
sir.
was one other issue with the subpoena duces tecum. Regarding the first request, which is investigative reports, CPA responds by saying that CPA is currently investigating the events of August 3rd and 4th relative to the escorting of former AG Buckingham. As it is an ongoing investigation, CPA does not have any investigative reports to produce. And so therefore you have, or CPA has provided incident reports relative to those 2 days. I'm just wondering, because on August 27th, the local paper reported the executive director of CPA as saying that an internal investigation conducted by CPA concluded that Ports Police did not violate any law or abused any power when they served as escorts at the airport to former AG Ed Buckingham. So the executive director has come out publicly saying that they have conducted an internal investigation and that investigation was concluded,
Right.
and that it did not support any violation of law, but your response is that CPA is currently investigating those same events. So which is it? What's going on?
Well, first of all, the statement by the executive director you will have a chance to confront him with when he appears on your subpoena. So there's no problem with that. But remember I told you earlier that J.P. San Nicolas was part of the internal folks within CPA reviewing this matter, and that response was generated, and that's the investigatory privilege. So that is the response of what's happening, is that there is the investigatory privilege, and the investigation has not been completed, and that's what you received. So with respect to the executive director's statement, you know, I can't speak for what statement he made to the media. I can only represent what, as an officer of the court and as you know, someone who's representing the agency, what I've learned on this matter. And I inform you that that's exactly the case.
I think the committee which addressed the subpoena, duces tecum, to Mr. De Leon Guerrero, asked him whether there are any investigative reports relevant to this matter, and you know, it's whoever responded on Mr. Guerrero's behalf, if it was the legal counsel, Mr. San Nicolas, or yourself, let me ask, are you aware of any internal investigation that was conducted and concluded relative to this matter? Are you aware of any such investigations or reports in possession by CPA?
I am aware of an investigation that has started to be conducted and is not been completed, and that CPA staff attorney J.P. San Nicolas is part of that, along with, I believe, our comptroller Derek Sasamoto, and that as to any investigative reports, I'm not aware of anything that's been completed on that. So
thank you. I needed to get that clarification for the record, and we will clarify this once Mr. Guerrero makes himself available. Before we go further, I would have to put you under oath,